Okay, Munchkin, story time. Let's take a seat.
Okay.
I hope everyone's been doing well. Today we're going to be in the book of Judges, chapter 6 through 8.
Ooh.
So a lot of Judges is a big circle for Israel.
Oh, who's Israel?
The Israelites, if we remember, they started over here in Egypt as slaves. There was Moses who led them out of Israel and over the river. And then they went through to Mount Sinai, and then they got the 10 Commandments. And then, after wandering around for a long time, they finally got to go up to Israel. They went to Jericho and Ai, and they conquered this whole area here on the map. And then eventually, they formed the nation of Israel. And Israel was made up of the tribes of Israel. Well, by the time Judges come around, the Israelites have been a nation for a while. Get all that out of the way. But they kept running into trouble. They would do this cycle where they would sin and get in trouble. And by getting in trouble, usually God would send someone mean to come in and take over the land of Israel. So we had the Philistines, who we'll call Phil, or the Midianites, who we'll call the Midianites, because I can't think of a cool way to shorten that.
Mini?
Sure, we'll call them the Minis, but they're still kind of large. So we got Phil and the Minis coming in, and they're in trouble. And now the bad guys are in charge. And the Israelites have to live under them for a while, because they're in trouble, because they were bad. So then that cycle continues where the bad guys come in. And Israel's like, God, please help us, save us. We don't want to be under the bad guys anymore. So God sends, let's say, a hero to help them. We learned about Deborah, who was a hero. And today we're going to learn about a new hero called Gideon. So a hero would come along and he would save Israel. And for a little while, everyone was happy. Why do you guys have your hands up?
Because I know, I've heard about Gideon before.
Really?
In the Bible.
But the person behind you probably didn't. Riley, have you heard about Gideon?
No.
No, you haven't, so we're going to continue with the story, okay? I'm just kidding. Thank you for sharing. So the hero steps in, and God uses the hero to save them, and Israel is happy for a little while. And time goes by. And then guess what happens? They sin. They do more bad stuff. Bad stuff. Sad face. And then when they sin, what happens? Who comes back around?
The bad guys.
The bad guys. Phil and Minnie. Phil and Minnie come back around and they take back over. And then the people that are even sadder will do some tears. They're so sad. They messed up and they realized it. So they pray to God, and what happens again?
Hero.
God sends a hero. God uses the hero. And he saves Israel, and they are
Happy.
Yep, and they keep doing this. They don't learn. They just keep going around in one big circle. So this time around, Judges 6, we're going to talk about Gideon and what he does. And I should have gotten a bigger eraser, because this is taking forever.
You're right, you should have.
I definitely should have. All right, full disclaimer for our story. I am not an artist. It's fun to practice. It's good to use it.
I forgot about some Jesus bear.
You really want to be that picky about it? It's a whiteboard. Are you serious?
It's a Jesus bear.
All right, the usual disclaimer. I'm not an artist. You get what you paid for. Be grateful for it, okay? Deal?
Deal.
Good. All right, so Israelites are in trouble. We're going to make a person with a sad face. This time we're going to have, this is my friend Minnie. He's a mean man. Let's give him a whip. Crack. And the Israelites are in trouble. And he's like, crack, get back to work. Crack, get back to work, Israelites. And they're so sad. And then, hanging out one day, let's draw him a palm tree. It should probably be a green palm tree.
Yeah, green.
We'll use some color on there.
How about you use brown for the trunk?
Sounds
And
good.
black. Or orange. Whatever.
Orange works, right?
Yeah.
We'll do a palm. Can we do an invisible palm tree?
No.
That's not working. There we go.
You can't do an invisible palm tree, silly.
Alright, are we doing Gideon the person or Gideon the bear?
Gideon the bear. Is there Jesus in the story too?
No, there's no Jesus. That's a different part of the Bible.
Okay, then Gideon bear.
Alright, let's do a Gideon bear.
Put a hat on him.
What? Why would he have a hat? He's a bear. Alright, so we have Gideon bear hanging out under a palm tree one day. When Israelites are in that cycle again where they sinned and the bad guys came. And let's say God. Who's God? The big man upstairs.
Yeah.
He's hanging out. He starts talking down to Gideon.
Yay.
And he says, I need you to help me. I have a special job for you. And what do you think Gideon says?
Yes.
Are you sure? I'm Gideon. Well, Gideon was in the small tribe. So we have Judah, who's the big tribe. We have Simeon, who's pretty important. And we have a bunch of others. And at the very end over here is Gideon's tribe. That's what it was. It was Manasseh. Manasseh. That's Gideon's tribe. He comes from the little tribe as far as importance goes down here. And you know what? Gideon, let's just say that's his dad. That's his mom.
What about the bears?
That's his big brother and his big brother and his big brother and his big sister. And then there's Gideon.
Gideon bear.
Gideon bear came from the little tribe and was the little person in his family. He
Little
didn't
bear
feel.
in his family.
Okay, he was the little bear. Thank you. We're going for quickness, not quality here. Not going in a museum. So Gideon bear comes from the little tribe.
Yeah.
We got the big tribes, big families, and we got the little tribe. And Gideon comes from the little part in his family. He was the last one. He didn't feel like he was
Special.
worthy. Special is a very good word too. Special enough to help.
I didn't think of anything.
You didn't think of anything? That's okay.
I thought it was special.
So God came asking Gideon, I need your help.
Help.
I need you to help me.
Help.
What did Gideon say?
Yeah. I'm not sure.
I'm not worthy, or I'm not special. He didn't feel like he could do it. But you know what? That's just the type of person that God looks for and wants to use. Because if God can use the littlest person in his family, and that little family in the nation of Israel, that's part of the little tribe, that just means that it's more glory to God when everything works out for the people.
Why does that look a little weird?
I have absolutely no idea what look weird. Is that okay?
Forgot.
Well, everyone probably has Cheerios and water like usually in Sunday school, so we'll probably get some afterwards, okay?
Popcorn.
Popcorn? Maybe we can do
Ice cream.
popcorn. Wow, you guys are really sidetracked. We're focusing on the story.
Okay.
Bring it back in. Story time. Story time first. If you do a good job, maybe we can bribe you with some sweets or something like popcorn. Deal?
Yeah.
You're doing a good job. Bring it back in. Okay, deal.
Story time.
We're literally
Ice
in the middle
cream.
of the story. We're like a quarter of the way through. All right.
Ready? Yeah.
All right. This time we're just gonna. There we go. Oh, that's gonna look beautiful on my hand.
No, it will look gross.
Oh yeah. Well, not that bad. All right. So God asked Gideon to help, and Gideon said,
I'm not worthy.
and God said, you are worthy. I need you. I want you to help. So, Gideon Bear is placed in charge. We're gonna give him a little kind of a silly face there because he's like, I'm in charge, yay! I'm in charge, oh no. So, Gideon's placed in charge of an army. And God assembles 40,000 people. That's a lot of people, isn't it?
Oh, I'm not even reading up enough. On
Let's
my
just
Bible.
say that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 40. Each one of those lines represents 1,000 people.
Whoa.
That's a lot of people, isn't it?
5, 10, 15, 20, 25,
Yeah.
30, 35.
So, 40,000 people show up. And God says, you don't need that many. Gideon's like, what? We're going to go attack the bad guys. We want as many guys as we can have, right? God says, we don't need that many. So he says, anyone that is afraid, go home.
Daddy, make him giant.
And you know how many people went home?
Hmm.
Half the people.
They make him bigger so that everyone can be afraid of him.
No one needs to be afraid of him.
Right.
So, now we have 20,000 people.
Whoa. That's still a lot.
That's still a lot. But God said, we don't need that many. Yeah. So God played a game of eeny, meeny, miny, mo. He literally picked who he wanted to stay. God went eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I choose you. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I choose you. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I choose you. And he took out even more people. We're down to like 2,000 people. Gideon's like, God, what are you doing? We need these people. And God's like, you know what? We don't need that many. So you know what else he did?
What?
He had the men go to a river.
Why are you using blue?
I don't have blue. Purple's close enough. Don't be such a critic. So these people are at the water. And a lot of them get down and they drink from the water. You guys ever drink from the hose? You just, and that's what those people are doing. There's other people who get down and they cup some water up from the river and they go like this. But they're watching. They're keeping their eyes up and they're watching for people. These guys got down and they just soaked up all that water, as much as they can get, because they were thirsty. God said, I don't need those guys. I want these guys. And that's how he picked the army. You know how many of those were left? 300 people.
That is
300 people.
That's actually still a lot.
That's a lot, but that's not the numbers you want to go into a battle with.
What?
We started with 40,000 people.
Should he have that many?
That's a much better number if you're going to go to war and fight someone. They ended up with 300 people. That's like the number of people at our church during a service.
What?
300 people. That's not a lot of
in
people.
In a class?
Not in our class. No. 300 people was the number they had. And God said, that's all we need. God was confident. Gideon kind of came around. He didn't really believe at first, but eventually he knew that he had to trust God. And God said, if 300 is good enough, Gideon agreed and said, that's enough. We'll make do. So you know what they did?
What?
The Midianites had a camp.
Mini?
The minis.
Oh, yeah.
The Midianites decided we're going to make camp down here. We'll draw some little tents for them. down in the valley. We'll make a little campfire. Don't worry, it's far enough away from the tents it won't catch on fire. There you go. All right, so the Midianites are set up in camp. Gideon Bear and his Israelites sneak up on the camp on both sides in the middle of the night.
Are they the bad guys?
Remember the minis
Yeah.
are the bad guys in our story. Gideon, good guy.
You forgot.
Don't make me draw a minion. We're not going that. No, absolutely not. We're not going that far with it.
No.
Don't look at me that way. No.
Ramen.
No.
Yes.
They're the Midianites. They're the minis. They're not I don't like you sometimes. I don't even remember how to draw them right now. Give them some shorts and some boots. And this little guy is on patrol out here. He's an orange minion because he got tan.
He gets a huge eye.
There you go. Gideon Bear versus the minions. You see what this has gone to as a Bible story. This is not historically accurate. All right, Gideon and the good guys are up on top of here. We'll draw like a moon and some stars.
I have no idea how to write that. How about you write a comment?
A comet?
It's easy.
It's easy. Just draw a comet.
But the rock is black and the
Stop it.
fire is
Stop it.
orange.
All right, Gideon and these guys are up here. Now here's the secret to how they won. You know what they did?
No.
They took a torch. Draw a nice little like flame here.
What is a flame? Did you get torch?
Fire. They got a torch in one hand. They got a pitcher in the other.
What's a picture?
So they take a clay pot for holding water. Like a big jug like this with a handle. And you know what they did?
What?
They threw their pitchers on the ground and they all went crash. And they took their fire and they ran down the hill with it and they drew their swords. And it was such utter chaos that the 300 guys all came charging down at once. That the minions all got confused and they started attacking each other. So as the Israelites are in there like, ha, 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 the minions turn around and they start going, ha, 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 but they're doing it to each other too. So, very quickly, the whole minion army gets wiped out. And the Israelites won.
Why?
And Gideon gets to be the hero that God used to save the Israelites.
I didn't know that they could do that.
Yeah. They probably should not have been able to.
How did, what happened when they threw the water down?
They made such a loud crash, it scared everyone that was down here. And then they came charging in, because it's dark, so they can't really see what's going on. And they start setting fire to all the tents down here.
So they set them on fire with the torches?
Yep.
I thought that they would do that. But wait, why didn't you erase the smoke? The fire got
Really gonna be that picky about it. There you go. The smoke is gone. Actually, it should probably still be there if
Why?
everything is on fire in the valley.
Oh yeah.
There we go. All the tents are on fire. There you go. Giant bonfire going on because the minions are gone. All right,
the
so
minions are dead.
here we go. Story recap. We got the big man upstairs, which is God decided that he was going to bail the Israelites one more time and save them, even though they were stuck in that cycle. Remember that cycle where they would sin? We had the bad guys. They would be sad. God would send a hero, and then for a little bit they'd be happy. But then they start to sin, then the bad guys, then sad, then hero, then happy. Sin, bad guys, sad, hero, happy. This time around, the Israelites sinned. God sent in the minis, or the minions, or the Minionites. I hope that's spelled right. The people were sad. God sent in the hero. Who's our hero? Who's our hero? Who's our hero? Who's our hero? It was
Gideon.
Gideon Bear. Gideon. God used Gideon. Remember, how many people did they have to start? They had
4,000.
40,000. Was that enough?
Yeah. No.
No, we wanted less. Clearance sale. Half off. Yeah, sure. 0.5% off. Instead of 50% and half off, we're just going to go with that. So there were 20,000 people. Was that enough?
No. No.
No?
Too much.
What? That's not the way it works. Fine. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, you guys gotta go. We've got how many people?
300.
Not yet. We got 2,000.
2,000.
Then God said, I'm going to pick which ones I want to keep based on how you drink your water.
Okay.
And after that, we were left with how many?
300.
300 people. And with a torch and a water jug and some trust in God and a sword too. The sword definitely helped. God had Gideon Bear and 300 of his friends, and the Israelites go in and they took out the minions.
Boom, 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 boom.
And they saved Israel for another cycle. So right now the Israelites are
happy.
And God decided that by using the person that probably wasn't fit for the role, Gideon, who was from the small tribe and the last person in his family, that's the person he wanted to be the hero of this story. So even if you're not the oldest brother or the strongest or the fastest sister, God can still use you when you're willing. Just like a lot of our other heroes in the Bible.
Like if you're the weakest and the slowest, he can still use you.
He can still use you.
Like in how slow of a race, like he can choose you.
Yeah, it's not always about being the fastest. Alrighty, kiddos, that's it for this story time.
Okay, everything. Okay, I'll help. Can I help?